Jeff, that was an amazing episode. Hearing about how you were as a kid, how you grew through all of your struggles, and to see where you ended up today. So if there's one thing that you want to encourage people with from this episode, what is it?
Just to get out and do it. Don't sit around and be like with this limited mindset of like, oh, I'm not capable. I'm not capable. Just go get it done. You will see life start to happen right in front of your eyes. And you know what? You only have so much time on this earth. Don't regret it. Just get after it and do it. I hope you guys enjoy this. It was such a pleasure being interviewed by my wife. And guess what? The next episode, I get to interview you.
Live your life with your friend. Pursue big things and accomplish your dreams. Learn to love and learn to grow. The Spouse Podcast, you are in the know. SBO USA, SBO USA. What can be your true destiny? SBO USA, SBO USA.
Welcome to today's episode of the Spouse Podcast. I'm Lexie, and today I have a very special guest. He has traveled here all the way from the house. He walked to the backyard like 100 feet. So without further ado, Jeff Bowden-Miller, we're getting to know you today. Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome to my show.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds more like your show. You're like, welcome to the Spouse
Hey.
Podcast. I have a special guest.
And it's my spouse.
Yeah.
Huh.
You want to get to know me?
Yeah,
Are
I
you
feel like
sure?
I should probably know you.
I think if you have questions for me, we probably should have ran through these before we did the podcast.
No, because I'm not giving you a heads up because I want honest answers. I don't want you to think about it ahead of time and then make up things.
Wow, that could
Okay.
be scary.
So
I hope you're ready for this, and I hope the audience is ready for
I
this.
hope you're ready for
Oh,
this.
I'm ready. You
You
know
were
me.
born ready. See,
Right.
I know you like surprises, so that's why I'm surprising you with
So remember,
questions. Yes.
I get to interview you
I
on the next
know.
one.
I
so-
know.
All right. So whatever you're throwing at me, it's fair game.
You think I'm gonna ask you bad questions? Come on, man.
I didn't say bad
Yeah,
questions.
you
I
did.
just said fair game.
You're insinuating like whatever you do, I shall do to you double. That's what it sounded like.
I won't
All
do
right,
that.
so enough of your talking 'cause it's my show. Just kidding. Okay, so
Let's get started.
Jeff Bowden-Miller, who is? No, I'm just kidding. So let's start with when you were a wee lad. Where
I'm
did you grow up?
Irish.
No, you're
Oh,
not
in the-
Irish.
And
I'm Irish. You're not.
I know, but you said wee lad.
I know. I can say that.
Oh.
See, I'm Irish. I
Okay.
can say these words. You can't use my words.
Gotcha.
So where did you grow up? Tell us about this.
Where did I grow up?
Where on this beautiful planet did you grow up?
Man, yeah, that's a good one. I don't know.
You don't remember when you were born?
So I was
That's
born.
a fail. You must have
Uh-oh.
been drunk or something.
No,
You were born.
I was born drunk. That's not good.
You said I don't remember. I was just
May or
teasing
may
you.
not have happened. No, I'm teasing. All right. So I was born in California. Fail. No, but I was
Hey.
born in California
When it was awesome.
when it was awesome. It was
And who was the governor when you were born?
was it Ronald Reagan?
I believe it was.
I think he might have just.
No. Yeah. Anyway, it was in the Reagan era, back when
Okay,
things
'cause
were good.
Well, Reagan was president when I was born. Yeah.
He might
So
have been.
so
I
governor,
don't
he
know.
was governor so he was governor like in 75 or 76, like
Oh
when my brother
gosh,
was
that
born.
long ago?
I know.
don't remember
So
that because I was way before I was born.
Anyway, so yeah,
anyway,
I
you're
was-
in California when it was awesome.
I was in California as an awesome.
Uh-huh.
November 7th, 1979.
Sweet. Barely
Yes.
made it
I barely made it,
in the 70s.
which makes me a
So-
Gen X.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was born in.
So you have who in your family?
Who do I have in my family?
Yeah.
So,
who's a
okay.
part of this
I'll give you the
family?
story.
Tell me the
So
story.
born in 79
Yes.
in San Andreas, California,
Okay.
which was up in the foothills of
Did
Sierra
they have
Nevada.
a hospital there, or was this the vet that you went to?
Well, yeah, they had a
Hey,
hospital.
it's okay because Jesus was born in a manger, so
Well, I wouldn't have
good
that
enough for
status.
you.
Yeah, it's good enough for me. Yeah, I was born in a little hospital across the street from the CHP office, which is the Highway Patrol of California. If anybody's watched Chips, that'll
Mhm.
get into that story later, I'm sure. And yeah, my mom
Birthed you?
birthed me, and my dad and my oldest brother. I think at
Your
the time
oldest brother. How many brothers do you have?
I only have one. So he was what? When I was born, he would have been 3,
Like 3.5.
3.5,
Yeah.
almost 4. Yeah,
So you have how many siblings?
one.
One.
I have a
that's older,
stepsister,
so
but
you're the
that's different.
baby. You have a half sister.
Half whatever, I don't know all these terms.
Okay, I was
Ugh.
just helping you learn them.
Yeah, thanks. I need help.
That's awesome. So what was your family like growing up?
Man, my family, let's see, starting out with my dad,
Mhm.
he was a machinist, so before that, he was born and raised in Germany, hence my last name, our last name. So he came from Germany and, made it into the States. Pretty crazy story there. I don't wanna get into all that now, but he's been through a lot,
How
and
old was he when he came?
oh, he was still in his teens,
I thought he was 20.
or 20, yeah, somewhere around there, 19,
All
20.
by himself.
All by himself on a little plane that barely took off with a bunch of
Yeah.
krauts stuffed in it, and I remember he said his mom gave him a big trench coat and packed a bunch of sandwiches in the pockets for him.
So he sold sandwiches?
He became a baker when he got to no, so then, the plane supposedly didn't make it to where it was supposed to go, but he didn't know that, and it crashed, kinda crashed, emergency landed in Canada.
Oops.
Oopsie, but he didn't know any of this, and so he lived in
Dang.
Canada with his friend for a couple years eating table scraps.
That was like 4 years.
Yeah, it was like 4, probably somewhere around there, eating table scraps off this guy's table, and they did work for him, and, he did that for, yeah, several years until he started kinda learning English and then
And
realized,
yeah, and then he was like, "Hmm, no wonder this place is so stinking cold."
yeah, I thought United States was gonna be awesome, this place sucks. Anyway, sorry to all my Canadian friends out there. Anyway, but
I'm sure it used to be awesome too.
so when he found out that he was not in the United States, they made their way to the United States. And from
Perfect.
what I heard is he went on a Greyhound bus from like, I guess like the New York side,
Mhm.
somewhere around there, all the way, little by little, all the way to California is where he wanted to end up. And that was in the 50s, early 50s. And that's
When times were really awesome.
where times were really awesome. Yeah. He was like saying he was like buying property, like in Wisconsin, he bought like a bunch of property, bought property here in Florida too.
For like nothing,
For
huh?
like, yeah, it was like $40 or some crazy thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Anyway, cool stories. But got here and he was a machinist by trade in Germany. That's what he learned to do. And he came here and he learned the standard system because that's what he needed over here. And then he realized that machine work was back in the metric system. So then he had to go back to doing that. So anyway, long story
Wait,
short,
he learned in the metric system, and then when he came here, it was in standard?
I think that I don't know,
Yes.
yeah, I
So
think
he had to relearn
he
all
had to
these
relearn, yeah,
and not speaking English,
yeah, and
and
not
only being 20,
yeah, only
all
being
by
20,
yourself. That's pretty
and
crazy.
met my mom out in the Bay Area of California.
At, like, a disco or
Yeah, it
something?
was okay, here's a funny story. It was called the place they met was called Losers North, and it was in, I wanna say Palo
I
Alto, somewhere
wonder
around there.
I wanna know if that's still around.
It might be, but it was a cool place, and they all hung out there, and that's where he met my mom. He became one of the top-rated machinists in the not United States, but in that area, took over some large businesses, ran some businesses, and actually worked for, like, contract work for, like, Skunk Works, which was Lockheed Martin, and he built, like, parts and pieces for, like, the Atlas missile, the U-2 spy plane, the space shuttle, like, all kinds of cool things like that. Anyway, met my mom. My mom came from, do I get into all this or no?
Well, this is kind of,
I don't
we
wanna.
might wanna get into
Oh, okay.
your
But I was
life.
just kinda saying
Yeah,
where my parents came from. So,
yeah,
yeah,
well
so my mom just she was born in the Bay Area where my dad was
mhm.
at, and she grew up it's San Jose, which everybody knows now, San Jose and all that area is a Silicon Valley, which is obviously crazy, way bigger, but when she grew up there, it was nothing.
All
All
birds and
orchards and a dump, and she grew up on a dump in Alviso with her brothers, what how many siblings? 7, 8,
honey,
9? A
this
lot?
is
Well, my yeah. Anyway, and,
she was the 2nd set of kids.
yes, yeah, so
So the first set was, what, 6 or 7 kids, and then she married your grandpa, who was, like, 29 years older than her, and
yeah,
he had, like, a whole 2nd family, 6 more
yeah,
kids.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
lots of brothers and
yeah.
sisters.
So and things were not good for her. They had a really rough childhood, as my dad did too. He grew up in the time when Hitler was around in Germany in World War II, so they both went through, like, a lot of crap, saw a lot of chaos. My mom from there, met my father and then, did some stuff, worked down in the Bay Area, but then they decided to get
They
married.
did some stuff.
Did some stuff.
She
She
was a
was a
hairdresser.
hairstylist, and she was really good at that, and then my dad, again, was in the machine trade, and they bought their first house up in a really beautiful area called Redwood Estates in that Silicon Valley area in the
Mhm.
mountains, flipped it,
So
and then made a a good amount off of that, and then they sold it because they wanted to move up into the mountains to have
Why?
property.
Because
We were gonna have that we they were gonna have kids, and they wanted to raise them in the country.
Yes.
So that
And
moved
so
me
you
to
got
there.
to grow up in the middle of nowhere where it's peace and
Yes.
quiet.
I'm in
Okay, so what would be something that people would be surprised to learn about you? Pick one. There's a lot
Oh,
of things.
man. They would be surprised, I guess, to know that, like, I've had a ton of jobs. I don't know.
You say 100, but I have never seen this list written out.
I
I'm
thought you did.
questioning.
I wrote it with
No,
a CHB. I had to fill it all in.
I
That's how I
don't.
figured out I
I
had
don't
that many.
remember that there was that many.
Yeah, I've had a lot of jobs. Is that is that what you put to? You're like, "He's had a
No,
lot of jobs."
no, I did not fill in these answers. These are for you to answer.
Yes, I would
So,
say that and that I was married prior, and went through a really bad divorce, and that's when I met my amazing wife,
oh, you're so
Lexie.
sweet. Is that
So
me?
yeah, and I had a child prior to meeting you too, so those are just some things. I was a
Your
single dad for a
daughter.
little
Oh
while.
man.
Yeah.
And how old were you when she was born?
Ooh, man, there's a lot of these. Oh, I gotta say thank you. What was that again?
How old were you when she was
I know
born?
you gave me the 21,
I was
yes.
just giving you a peace
Yeah,
sign like it's cool.
I
So
was
how old were
only
you?
21 years old.
How nuts is that now when you see other 21-year-olds, you're like, "Whoa, I was young."
Yeah, yeah.
That's why you look so young now as a grandpa.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah.
because you had your first daughter, Laurel, now what do you have? Two little precious
Well, I have
little
another daughter
cutenesses.
who's
Yes.
18,
Mhm.
Aubrey, and I have 2 grandkids with our oldest daughter, Laurel, out in California.
That
Wow, man, it's so crazy to go from there to, like,
yeah,
now and go like, "Holy cow,
I
that's
know.
insane." So, yeah, so
So growing up, what did you do a lot of the time?
so I grew up in the middle of nowhere, as we
Yeah.
discussed, and, of course, I didn't fall into the typical genre I was around in where I grew up, and that was all country and Hicks and all that stuff, and I went the
Whoa.
opposite way.
Offensive.
It's so offensive. No, there obviously, I love all those people to death.
You were trying to reject your hillbilly
I
heritage.
was a rebel, so I grew
Mhm.
up and did everything opposite.
Mhm.
Obviously, I struggled in school, that was been well documented, went through multiple schools.
But why?
So, I say that
Ice.
I was not a bad kid. I just struggled in learning, and obviously that I think a lot of that was ADHD and stuff, and the
Mhm.
school system back then didn't really have a good understanding of how that worked,
No.
so they put me into, like, the special ed class and
Mhm.
different things, and I was just bouncing off the walls crazy, and so then I went from school to
Wait,
school
you
to
were,
school.
like, eating Fruit Loops for cereal and then trying to sit
No,
for 8 hours straight, and
no, my
then you were
mom
like, "Why can't I just sit here in
no,
class?"
because we grew up so that's another thing too, we grew up out in the country, right,
Mhm.
with, like, 20 acres, and we did everything.
Mhm.
We lived, like what do you call that? Like, lived off the
It's like
land.
yeah, almost like a people say homestead kind of now.
Yeah, like homestead, like, we had my mom made our clothes, not all our clothes, but made a lot of our
A
clothes.
few not your hammer pants.
Not my hammer pants, actually, we bought those when we went to, my cousin Ray's wedding. Shout
Yeah.
out to Ray.
Thank you
Um,
for the cool clothes,
yeah,
Ray.
I got a pair of Reebok pumps and hammer pants
So you could
for his
run
wedding.
fast, jump high, and not tear the
This
crotch out of
was
your
late
pants.
80s, early yeah, late 80s probably,
No, was it?
or maybe I think it was late 80s, somewhere around there. It was close around there, but yeah, for his wedding, we rolled in with hammer pants, like,
I wish I had a picture of
wow.
those so that we
Oh,
could
man. I'm sure there's one somewhere.
I'll ask your brother. Where's the picture?
Where's the picture of that? That would be a
Awesome.
good one to show.
Alright, so you get out of school and
Barely.
okay, barely, but you did it. Give yourself some credit.
Yay. Graduated with
Mom
one
mom
other.
forged you a diploma. No.
No, mom forced it for sure.
So, you get out of high school and you were like, "I'm gonna be an entrepreneur," right?
Yeah.
No. What'd you do?
No, I just fell into the trap of like, you should go to art school because you're very artsy and you're with your ADD and I played in a punk rock band and skateboarded and all
You're an
this. So they're like,
artist.
you're an
Wait,
artist.
wait,
You're a weirdo.
and this was who? Was this someone, who would possibly benefit from selling tuition to high school
Oh yeah,
children?
of course,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
I went to Arizona where my
Yes.
aunt lived, and, at that time, I was not yet married to my ex-wife, but that was getting ready to happen, and we, went there first
Mhm.
to check out this amazing school that was gonna
Yeah.
just give me a whole new world of
Can
being an
I
artsy person.
y it's gonna feed your artistic talent,
Oh, yeah.
make you blossom into
It
the
did.
amazing man that you have become. What time of year did you go to visit Phoenix? They invite you in, like, November, and you're like, "Wow, this is great."
No, we went in the heat of it
Oh,
all.
okay. So
Yeah.
you at least knew that.
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
because I remember riding in my aunt's Kia, the SUV one. It's a Sportage. Kia Sportage.
No.
Yeah, it's a Sportage,
Oh,
and it
those
was
little
convertible.
yes.
It was a
Oh,
convertible one, four-wheel drive,
okay, cool aunt.
cool aunt, but the issue was is her AC didn't work.
Oh, that's why she
And
needed
so
a
yeah, and so we, like, dude, we would cook in that
Oh
thing.
my word,
It was
okay,
crazy.
no AC in Phoenix in the
The top
summer.
down, just
Like,
blazing around that little thing, like, "Boing."
and
Yeah,
you were
so
like, "This is the life.
oh,
I'm
I
going
was
to
like,
art
"I can't
school."
wait to go to art school." So signed up for
So
art school.
awesome. You go to art school.
2 years later
30 grand later.
yeah, 30 grand later, I met some really cool people there. One of them's
Yeah.
my good buddy Chris, who we still connect with today.
Okay, see,
That's where it's at.
that alone is worth
It
the
is.
30 grand and
I
sweating in the
yeah.
Arizona heat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
This
we
is
had
true.
and yeah, so anyway, did art school there,
Oh,
went to school at night, worked for the airlines during the day.
that's nice and chill.
Oh, it was a great job. So this is you're gonna be I think this is how I stole you because I was like, "I used to work for the airlines. Oh, were you a pilot?" I'm like, "No,
You're
no.
like, "Yeah, I
No,
was
no."
kinda like Catch Me If You Can, because I went to art school, so I had to
Yeah.
kinda lie my way in."
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
No.
I worked on the ground loading and unloading planes.
So, how nice was that in the summer?
It was awesome. People literally would pass out. You would watch them pass out because it was so hot. And they used to give us salt tablets, sunflower
Yeah.
seeds, Gatorade to keep us alive, but they paid us $5.15 an hour.
Why'd you leave?
I know. But
You should've been like, "Forget art school."
we got free flight benefits,
That's cool.
which was amazing. And I met my good buddy Nick there, who actually passed away in a plane crash. He became a instructor and later on passed away. But him and I used to travel all over together because we had free flight benefits, and I had no money, obviously. And I'm a poor college student, and
How did you have time to do that? That's what I wanna know.
we would
If
anytime I didn't have school, so I worked from like 4:30 or 5 in the morning till like 1,
Mm.
and then we'd get off, and then I didn't start school till like I think 5 at night or 6 at night. So from that little time bank, I'd have enough time to make a quick trip, and then yeah, I know it's crazy,
What?
just to like Tucson and back or something, and then I would come back
Huh.
to the airport, and then go to school because I ate on the plane, and then I go to school from like 6 to 9 or 10, go home, reset, do it again, and then on the weekends, before we had my daughter, Laurel, my buddy and I would just go all over. We would fly to
Mm.
like Columbus, or we'd fly to New York, or we'd fly wherever the planes are going, we'd go. We just
Mm.
had to put on a polo shirt and pray that we get first class. And we got first class, we got food and drinks. We were
Mhm.
legit. So
Not just peanuts.
not just peanuts.
Not just
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Awesome. So then after you graduated from art school and you were ready to move on into your amazing art career, where did you go?
yeah, that was a bwah, bwah, bwah. I don't even know. I was just thinking, I'm like, I don't even think I graduated. Like I did, I got
What?
a degree, but I didn't have like a
You
ba-doo.
didn't go to your graduation
I
ceremony.
didn't have one, I don't think. I don't even think they
Okay.
had one. Yeah, I'll have to
Okay.
ask Krista.
All
I don't
right.
remember. We
I'm
just
gonna
so I
wait
rolled
a minute.
so
Is
I
this
rolled
kind of
right
like you
into
didn't remember when you were born?
yeah. So I rolled right into I went into the bachelor's program, and
Ooh.
then I bailed like 6 months into that, and I was like, this is too much because my ex-wife and I were going through a divorce. Got pretty bad. I had my daughter at that time.
And you had her by yourself when she was how old? She was
Um,
like a year old,
no, it was
18 months.
yeah, it was like 18 months to 2 years old.
Mhm.
But
That's
anyway,
little.
so from there, I graduated. I did get a job in the art field. So I left the airlines, which was a bummer, believe it or not, even though at that point, I think it was like at $7 an hour, hauling in the mail.
No
I
more
was loving
salt
life.
tablets,
No more,
no
yeah.
more Gatorade, no more
Had to
peanuts.
trade it in for a polo shirt or dress up nice and then go sit in
Ugh.
an office. And
In the AC, and you were like, "Get me out of here."
I started to go, this sucks, dude. This is not ideal for me. So
Mm.
I did that for a while. I met my art director, the guy that hired me. His name was Greg Ball.
Where was this
actual
at?
name. This was in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay.
Gosh, that's a crazy story. So I met Greg. He was my supervisor and my art director. I worked at this place called the Scottsdale Art Factory. It might still be
That
around.
might still be
Yeah,
around.
we'll have to Google that. But
Better
anyway,
odds than
we designed
reverse.
custom made furniture for crazy houses. Like this stuff was insane. Like we had like a Michael Jordan, a lot of these big people that would build houses. We'd build all their furniture. So like for him, obviously it was like oversized beds, doors, like crazy stuff. So that was actually kind of cool to do that. But we got paid diddly nothing. Well, anyway, I was going to say that guy, gosh, yeah. So that guy's name was Greg Ball, right?
Yes.
Him and
That's
I
what you
became
said.
him and I became super good friends. He was gay, but we were like we commute to work back and forth, became really good friends. Well,
On his motorcycle.
no, we I rode with him, we rode with me, that kinda thing, and because we lived close together. Became super good friends. He gave me an old beat up motorcycle, and I never ended up getting it fixed. Anyway, at that point, we left and we went to California because I went to pursue my career still in art, which was working for Toyota in Torrance, California. And as soon as I got there, that job fell through, lost everything, and I ended up living above a business while I was going through a divorce. Or at that point, things started getting really toxic. So I became a maid and I started cleaning boats and houses, working for Merry Maids. At that point, my buddy Greg, that I still had communication with, I got a call from the secretary that used to work at that place. And she says, "Hey, yeah, Greg's no longer here. And did you know his real name was Roger?" And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, so apparently, I can't remember if he did something crazy. Like stolen identity. I don't know if he murdered, whatever. Some
Oh.
crazy thing went down, and the US government was looking for him everywhere. Well, he changed his identity, stole somebody's identity. And this is back in the early 2000s. And his real name was Roger Raw, not Greg Ball. So I was like, "What the heck?" And she's like, "Yeah, so they found him. They came and picked him up from work, FBI or whatever, and he's in prison." And I'm like, "Are you
Oops.
serious?" He's like, "My buddy."
My BFF.
Yeah, so long story short there, he had a motorcycle I really liked, and they were cleaning out his house. I ended up buying that motorcycle
From who?
from whoever it was. Yeah, I know, that's kinda crazy. But yeah, so crazy, total, like, everything, his name was Greg Ball, like, everything, everything. Like, that's what his name was, totally fake. His real name was Roger Raw, and I don't know where he's at today. I heard
Roger, if you're listening, Jeff would really like to talk to you.
yeah, he was actually a really big influence on me just in my life, even though we had a lot of disagreements on
I
other
was
things.
like, what kind of
No,
influence?
not that influence.
Next question. What
Yeah,
is your real name?
yeah, my real name is Jack. No. So that's kinda crazy. So, yeah, so I ended up in LA, and then life just went crazy from there. Moved all over LA. Believe it or not, I got back to work, for the airlines that I left in Arizona. I started working for them at John Wayne International Airport in Orange County, doing the same thing, and that's when my ex-wife and I separated, and so I took my daughter, that was, like you said, about, what, a year and a half or so old, and, left, and then went to be with my parents because I didn't have really any place to go.
Gotcha. So, if we fast forward a little bit,
I'm trying. Sorry.
it's all right. I forgive you.
Lots going on.
So, you move back home, and then we meet, and I remember Laurel had just turned 3. So then we get married. What were you doing at that point?
Oh my gosh.
Artiste.
Yeah, first I met your dad and I'm like, he's just like, "So what's this art thing about? What are you gonna do there?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm
What's
gonna
this art thing?
design." Yeah, this is like a rancher. He's like, "Art, really?
He's like,
Okay.
"Oh,
So
okay.
are you really a man?
Tell me
Seriously."
about your Merry Maid days."
Yeah, I know. Tell me about the days you used to be a maid. Anyway, so when I got up
So
there, I met you. I lived on the ranch,
Mhm.
your ranch, rented from your dad, and that's when you and I were dating, and you came into Laurel's life like a mother. Like, it was unbelievable, like, when we started
So
dating.
nice.
Well, I know it's weird, but that's the exact truth. Like, cause her mom was not around, was not there
Yeah.
for her, and it was a very tough time for my daughter and for me, and I'm trying to raise her and do the best I can. And, yeah, when you came into her life, I really liked you, and I didn't know how to deal with this, so I told you straight up. You remember that. I was like, "Look, before we go anywhere, you gotta know I really like you, you really like me, but I cannot, like, commit to you unless you really commit to me right here and now." That was almost how I said it, and I'm like,
No, you said, "I have a lot of baggage,"
I
and I'm like, "Oh, I know where you get." Now it makes sense,
yeah.
okay?
So
You're like, worked on the ramp, you're like, "I got a lot of baggage." That's the word I'm looking
yeah,
for.
and that was an amazing point in my life because you took her on full on and supported me even going through all that hell that we went through for
Mhm.
so many years, so many years.
Yeah,
So,
and
but
she is now
amazing
almost it's crazy because now
25.
her daughter is almost as old as when I first met
I
her.
know, that's crazy.
That's nuts. Time
Yeah.
goes by so
So you
fast.
were saying work. So
So,
what I
yeah.
did there is I worked for UPS and then a bunch of odd jobs because at the time UPS was not full time for me. So I had like these random part-time things I'd work and then I'd have to fill it in and get unemployment and then go work odd jobs, help your dad do
Mhm.
things like that. And I was going through the process of the CHP to get hired there.
And right when you got full-time at UPS, what happened?
I was full
What
time for at least a year, wasn't I? I
well,
had to
you
have been.
ended up getting delayed because of the lung collapse, so you couldn't go to the academy.
Yeah.
But it was so let's go to you come home and you tell me, "I've got a great idea. Now that I finally got my own route driving, I wanna go be a highway patrol officer."
Yeah.
Awesome. And then it took you years to get through the application process and
Oh, yeah.
finally get into the
Yeah,
academy.
3 years just to go through the process, right?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, then like you said,
Furious.
we got the invite finally, because then during that time, remember, they shut the academy down
That
because
was why,
California was
yeah,
going through
it
all
so
the
long.
political garbage.
Yeah.
So they shut the academy down, had to wait, and then finally get back on the list, and then I get my invite, we're all excited, and my lung collapses
Again.
again, and I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me," and then
Okay, this was the funniest thing because we're do you remember this? We're in the car and I'm like, "Hey, you're gonna have to call him and tell him." And you're like, "Oh, I don't wanna call him and tell him." So then what was her name? Michelle? Michelle Kwan?
No,
No, or Tina.
Tina
Tina
Kwong,
Kwan.
I love you.
And and he calls and he's like, "Yeah, so calling for a friend." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, do you not think that they they have caller ID. Like, I know that she knows it's you."
Yeah.
And then you start to tell her, and then she was questioning who it was, and you hung up on her.
I was like, "Ah, can't hear you."
"Can't hear you," click.
Yeah, well,
And
she
then the
called back.
phone rings.
Yep.
Whoops.
Yep. So I had to come clean there, and she was actually super loving and nice, and she just goes, "Look, like, obviously, we're gonna have to get the state doctor involved with
Yeah,
this because it's a liability." State doctor then denied me, said, you can't be a highway patrol officer." And I'm like, "Dude, I've been in this for three and
after
a half
all
years or
this
whatever."
time.
And so anyway, with that, so everybody knows, what I had was a spontaneous pneumothorax, okay? Yeah, and
And just to speed up the story for all of the listeners
yeah,
and to
I was gonna tell them what it was, like, so they know. So they're like, "What do you mean you can't go in
okay.
without a collapsed lung?" So it was a spontaneous collapse of my
Uh-huh.
lung, and it happened between tall, slender males, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was dealing with that, and this is the second time, and it happened another,
Wait,
what, 2
no,
times?
that was the 3rd time, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Because they said, "This is really rare.
Yeah,
There's like, this happened, there's only like a 25% chance of it
yeah,
happening a second time." And then it happened a second time, then they're like, "Well, that's even more crazy.
yeah. So
And it will
anyway,
never happen again." And
yeah.
then it did happen
So the
again.
doctor said that you can't get in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well," and he's like, "Well, did you have a paradesis done?" I'm like, "No, we lived out in Podunkville." And that was funny too, because the doctor that first did the surgery
Mhm.
came in and said, like, when we found out my lung was collapsed the
Yeah,
first
the
time,
first time.
we walk in there and the doctor goes like, "I've never done the surgery before," or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
You were in the
it's
room.
just a procedure to put, like, a pencil-sized hole in your chest wall to let the air out,
It was
because the air
crazy.
had leaked out of Jeff's lung into his chest cavity, and then it just keeps pushing more on your lung and more on your lung,
Yeah.
collapsing it more.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing.
So, we get through that, and you have the crazy surgery,
Mhm.
and you're in the hospital for 3 days.
I love what you say too, because I don't remember all that when the surgeon came
Oh,
in, he's like,
uh,
"Sorry, I'm running a
okay.
little late."
He Jeff's surgery was supposed to be at like 7:30 in the morning, and then we're there and he comes rushing in. This is the doctor, not the doctor in the ER that did the procedure to let the air out, but this is the doctor that's going to do the permanent sealing of the chest wall to the lung. He comes in and he's covered in blood from the last surgery. He's still in apparently he runs out from that surgery just to say, "I'm running late." Don't just no biggie. I'll be with you shortly.
Oh,
We're like, okay. And we weren't really told about the recovery. And Jeff wakes up and like cannot breathe hardly. I mean, you think about having what it is they blow a powder in there that
mhm.
it irritates your chest wall and your lungs so that they heal together. And so then we didn't know that you had to be in the hospital for 3 days after that.
Yeah.
That was a good surprise.
Yeah. Well, which one was worse, the nose surgery or that one? Or the shoulder? Because the nose, remember they, like,
The nose was bad
yeah,
too.
they, like, hit me with a stinking sledgehammer, and then I woke up and I just, like, puked blood, and then I couldn't see, you had to feed me with a
Remember
straw. So,
so
I think that one was
I
bad too.
fed
You've been
you
through some r
I fed you applesauce and pudding and yogurt with a little you couldn't even see,
and
but I
last night you
spoon
tended
fed
to
you.
me
Oh,
because I had a migraine. I
last
had a
night
complex migraine.
no, you had a regular migraine. Jeff's like,
Ugh.
"So this is what happens. We pause this interview on Jeff's life to tell you about recent events of
No.
last night. And he's like, throughout the day, oh man, I feel like, oh man, I'm getting a headache. I'm like, okay. Like, he refuses to take anything, right? And I'm like, I get it. What's the problem? Like, are you dehydrated? Drink water. Like,
Yeah.
find out what the issue is. Don't just take ibuprofen. So he doesn't. Then we're going out throughout the day and he's like, oh man, my head hurts. And then we eat dinner and he, like, is holding his head, his temple. And then the next thing I know, I hear him, like, moaning in the bedroom. And I was like, man, better go see. Sounds like he's
Well, I
dying.
called for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I called. I
So
tried many times to cry so you would come in there, but you never
I'm in
did.
here,
You were
help
like,
me. And I was
"Whatever,
like,
sissy.
It's like, yeah, just wait for that ibuprofen to kick in.
Shut up."
So then I go in there. Well, this is what happened. Jeff got to experience a migraine last night, and he's like, but I feel like I'm gonna throw up too. I'm like, yeah, it's a migraine,
You know,
honey.
and you just said it like I'm like, "Babe, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Like, if I go
my
to the
head hurts
hospital, it
so
seriously
bad.
feels like my
And I
head's
was
gonna
like,
explode."
hey, you want me to take you to the hospital? No.
I
Okay.
just wanted sympathy. No,
And
I
I'm
just
like,
didn't
I'll
know what to
bring you
do.
a cold washcloth for your head,
So
do what I
you
can.
did. You were very
So
empathetic. And so I think in short, like you really it was the way you just like I'm like, "Man, this hurts so bad." You were just like, "It's a migraine." Like
that's
just
not
whatever.
that's not
And
what
but
I said.
it like kind of infuriated me at the same time. I'm like, "Oh yeah, she's right." Like I just men don't experience that much. And
It's like a
so
man cold, but
yeah,
worse.
and it was like, man, so it just had me realize how grateful I am that you would take care of me, but also, like, when you go through those, I'm like, "Dang, yeah, that's legitimate." I think some people do just say they're getting migraines to
If
get
you say that
just for
tonight again,
attention.
I'm not falling for it again.
No, but there are some people that are like, "I have a migraine," and then, like, 5
And
minutes
you're
later,
like,
they're better, and I'm like,
well,
"How'd that happen?"
yeah, I guess there's like, differentiating between just a headache and a migraine.
Yeah, well, and attention,
So,
not attention. I was trying not to get your attention.
okay,
I finally gave in yesterday, and I was like, "Lex,
you were
either hit
like,
me with a sledgehammer." Like, it was yeah, it
I
was
was like, okay, what can I get you?
I
And
don't
then
even
you're
know.
like,
It's
I'm like,
so
okay, do you want like other things for you to take? No,
alright, so we
no.
just spent, like, 5 minutes on a migraine.
So,
But that's just to tell you that I'm a sissy and my wife's way tougher than
no,
me, and
I
I have a
think
lot of
it's
respect for women in general, not only with migraines and those things, obviously other cycles and things you go through, and childbirth. That's amazing to just see what your tolerance is for pain sometimes versus men. It's amazing. So,
but I
just wanna
think
tell
what
you I
it
appreciate you.
is see that we have each other, right?
Yeah.
So,
You were supposed to
supposed
say,
to take
"Thanks,
care of
honey."
each other. Thanks, honey.
Okay, there it
Thank you
is.
for telling me that I have a high pain
And
tolerance.
you're awesome.
Oh,
That's what I
thank you.
said.
Thank you.
Alright, carry on.
So, all right, you get through the academy, which is super hard.
27 weeks
27 weeks of a
times 2.
live-in academy.
Yep.
Ended up going there twice, and at this point, it was like a 50% failure rate once you get to the academy.
Yeah.
And this is like, at this time, only what, 1 out of every 1,000 applicants actually got through.
Yeah, it was super strict, hard to get through.
Super strict. So you get through this.
Amazing, because I was a felon. Not really,
Oh,
but I
you
was a
were not a
okay, I
felon.
did not think I could ever be a cop because in my juvenile
What
years,
crimes did you
18
commit?
and earlier, I did a lot of stupid stuff, and I was in trouble a lot with the police.
The
So
for Okay, was this beyond your
but it doesn't
skateboarding?
yeah,
Because I thought skateboarding
but
wasn't a crime.
well, there's a
Was
sticker
it?
out there. Apparently it is in
Oh, wait.
Hicktown. I never thought I could be a cop. My brother and I always watched Chips and all these cool shows, and I always thought it would be cool to do. Long story short, I saw this media day, went there and participated with the CHP, and I'm like, dude, I wanna do this. And I started asking about it, and they're like, anything 18 and you're in trouble then? I said, no. And they're like, oh, then you should apply.
They're like,
Yeah,
"Perfect."
so I did go through the academy after all the other stuff. 27 weeks, graduate. What started with 129?
No, it was more than that.
Well, anyway, we graduated with like 69, I think, right?
Yeah.
It thinned us out,
Yeah,
and we
it
were the
was about
first class
half.
back from when everything was shut down. So there was
Mhm.
no trainers, everything was chaos. We didn't have like I remember they didn't have betting. It was like the wildest time. But anyway,
Mhm.
graduate, go out for break-in, went to Garberville, which is on the coast of California.
And
Thought it was
why
gonna be
Yeah.
awesome, and it sucked because it's like the dope capital of the world. Did
The
not make it
Emerald
off Emerald
Triangle.
Triangle, they call it. Did not make it off a break-in, which is a 3-month period. I just went crazy. I just overwhelmed, couldn't figure out the job. So they demoted me in lieu of termination. Nice,
So
nice state
nice.
sounding words, whatever. And they gave me a job as a civilian, what they call a civist, doing commercial vehicle inspections in a different part of the state. So then after we moved
We moved
to the
like
coast,
6 hours away,
yep,
and
and
we were
then
there for 5 months-ish.
maybe 5 months,
It
and
was
then we
5
weren't
and a
even
half.
done unpacking, and we started packing again.
It was like, "Hey, guess what? Week before Christmas, you're gonna go find a new place to live 3
Yeah.
hours away."
Yeah. So talk about again, like this reminds me just all this crazy struggles and things we've been through as
Mhm.
now as a family,
Yeah.
and our daughter's living through all this too, which
Mhm.
obviously built us to be stronger. But yeah, so we moved to the ghetto of this place called Anderson, California, and it's getting better there now. But we lived in a really pretty rough area. Had amazing landlords. They were actually volunteers for the local police there. Just great people, and they lived right across the street. But it was definitely challenging times for all of us as a family. Very, very. And you started really going through a lot of stress, obviously, because you're like, this guy is a mess. He can't figure out a career. He doesn't know what
Every
he's doing.
every new career day, somebody convinces him that
Yeah,
he should go.
he should be a pilot now. And you come on with, I know, it's just good grief. So, yeah. So then, long story short, I'm working as a civilian there. I'm ticked off because I was like, I should not have been fired or whatever,
Mhm.
let go. I'm like, I put in my time and you put in your time for the highway patrol to get to this point, and it never worked. So then I went back to the CHP and I emailed and I went right to the commissioner.
The very top
So
guy.
if you guys work in a chain of command and you really want attention and you want things to happen, they always tell you, don't you go through the chain of command. You don't go above it. Well, if you really want action, go above it. I might get in
If you
trouble for that.
want, it's kind of like a kid that wants attention. They don't care if it's bad attention.
No, and I was all good with that. So I went to the man, the commissioner of the highway
Mhm.
patrol, and emailed him, and he emailed me back. And boy, did things start happening. And they weren't going to
So,
fire me, but I had a talk with the chief, and they just asked what was going on. I said, well, I'm just frustrated with the department. You guys failed me. I didn't fail you. Long story short, they put me back through the hiring process.
but guess what?
What?
Because of that, you met your awesome buddy Keith.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Keith.
See? So everything that seems bad can have a silver
Man,
lining,
so
right?
true. So yeah, so then I go, they're gonna put me back to the academy again. And well,
Just
first
a
they just
little
said,
refresher.
yeah, first they said just a little refresher, and then you'll be right back out in there. Go get them,
Don't
Tiger.
worry.
They lose my application. They lose all my stuff. All this stuff. Yeah, I know.
Lose.
All this stuff. Yeah, they were like,
Into the
we're gonna
shredder.
lose this guy. We're gonna finish him off. So they somehow I keep calling them. They find my stuff. Whatever. We get
Mhm.
back in the thing, and then they're like, hey, everything's changed with the hiring. So you need to go through the hiring process and the academy again. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
All the way from turning in an application, doing all the written tests, doing the psych test, doing the physical test,
Yeah,
doing all the crap, and then going
through the whole thing again.
27 weeks again.
Yeah.
So then, because you never quit and you persevere,
Well,
you, after 2 years of fighting,
you
go
supported it.
back.
You supported it though, which was the biggest part. You and we talked about that, and you said, "You're not gonna take our daughters. We're not moving all over the state." So those that don't
Mm.
know, we with the highway patrol, when they hire you and you graduate the academy, you go wherever they send you.
And it's always the
It's
worst
the worst places,
areas.
right? So she's like, "You're gonna go there. We're not moving the
Well,
kids
I
again."
just didn't wanna move them out of
Right.
school
And
again.
we totally agreed on that.
Mhm.
So anyway, graduate and I get Santa Cruz, which was way better,
Yeah.
super awesome. Go there, and I actually lived with my family friends, rented a room
Mhm.
from them, and commuted back and forth for what,
5
5
years.
years or something.
So you'd go for, like, 5 days and then drive the 4.5, 5 hours, or if there's traffic, 8 hours
Yeah.
back.
So at this point, yeah, like we're in like the 5 year realm. We've been with the highway patrol for almost 10 years. 5 years down in Santa Cruz, all this, and it starts to get super overwhelming to me. I'm starting to deal with cumulative stress, which turns into post-traumatic stress. And I start having issues, just mental crazy stuff. And then you tell me you need to go get help. And so
So the end of February of 2020, you hurt your shoulder at work, and then you came home and you were just like sitting in, like, totally disengaged,
yeah,
sitting in the office. And you always say it like, you told me I had to go or else.
that's
No,
kind
I
of
said, while you're out for your shoulder, you need to go get
right.
help for
I
your
know.
work stress.
But you also did say that you need to talk to your commander and tell him what's going on. And I was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, you're right, I do." And so you guys don't know this, but my wife, see how ginger and sweet she is? When she has a different look, and that look happened, and I only seen it a couple times. When I saw that look, I was like, I did like the gulp thing, where you're like, "Oh god, she means business." But it woke me up too, and I was like, "Okay, I need to stop playing around. My family is way more important to me than my career. I already know it's going to happen. I know that the
Mhm.
state's going to flush me down the toilet." And so I went out, called him, notified him, told him what was going on. And this, by the way, came back from Santa Cruz, no longer commuting, and got to be much closer to home, which I thought would make things better, and it
But
got
that
worse.
was only, like, September of
Right.
2019 you got closer to home.
Yeah. So it wasn't very
It
long, but it
was
got
like
worse, and it
yeah.
got worse fast.
Mhm.
So I just made the choice, talked to my lieutenant, which was the amazing man. And yeah, like, basically, he's like, "Look, we're gonna take your badge and gun. You're gonna need to go get help." And I was like, "I already got help lined up." And we started the process,
Mhm.
and then
2 weeks later,
COVID.
oops, no one's going anywhere
We're
for
in
treatment.
California, by the way, so
So,
it shut down.
to put it mildly,
Yeah. So I
you
had no
couldn't
access to
go
doctors,
do anything.
nothing,
Yeah.
nothing. So it got really, really tough then. And then
Mhm.
maybe 2 months in or so, they denied my claim.
Yeah. So, it's always nice when you have them say, "You're a liar, and you're making this up, and we're not paying you anymore,
After all that
and
we've
we're
been through with them.
taking you, to court, and you have no health benefits and no money for over a year."
Yeah. It's one thing to just say like, "Hey, look, you're a liability to us. See you later,
Mhm.
and we'll support you." It's
Mhm.
another thing to call you a liar and to make the whole thing come out to be like basically, yeah, like you said, I was doing this because I wasn't getting terminated from my job, and I was like, "There's no that's never happened." Like, I
Yeah.
have nothing on my record. It was
Mhm.
crazy. So, long story short, we fought the state for how long?
Over a year. It
Over
was
a year.
like yeah,
Yeah, it was like
it
with
was
no
over a
money,
year with
no
no
income,
money.
no income at all.
So, we had reserves from selling one house and then buying the next house because we were doing a live-in flip that was really extensive. So, thankfully, we had bought all of our building supplies before COVID hit because then the cost of everything, like, tripled.
Right.
So we're home, no money, and a house to work on. So, I mean, I guess that was kind of good timing. We had
Well, yeah,
nothing better
but
to do.
right, but my mind was completely spent.
Oh,
I couldn't
man.
figure out
Jeff
anything.
so
And then the CHP
mhm,
literally sitting out front of our house and flying planes over
flying
constantly
over,
watching
yeah.
us,
Yep.
which was so like, it's just crazy. I just felt like you're just like in this
Mhm.
false imprisonment. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing. It's like
Yeah.
that movie Jim Carrey, remember? Like where he
The
thinks he's in
Truman Show?
Truman Show, like where everybody just watch and I'm like, man, like I'm a normal guy. What the
Yeah,
heck is going on here?
right.
Like, why are you guys doing this to it's not just me, my
Yeah.
family. It just felt
Yeah,
horrible.
so during this time, you're like, "Huh, okay, obviously I'm not going back to work." So
Anywhere. Couldn't work anywhere.
no, I mean, you couldn't work anywhere, but
Yeah.
then so once we finally get through the process
Start getting help.
and okay, yeah, well, for you started getting help long before we settled the lawsuit.
Yeah,
But then
but that really started helping me.
yes, so at what point during this process did you think, "I don't want a job. I would like to be an entrepreneur."
Yeah, I don't even that so, yeah, obviously, during this whole time, your dad, when I first met you, was buying real estate, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"What the heck? That's crazy," and I did a little bit with him, and I really
Mhm.
loved it, and then you bought your first house, and then we bought some other properties, so we were doing
Mhm.
that in the back end the whole time. I'd come home and help work on it and all that, and I started listening to Bigger Pockets podcast and all these different things,
So
and
every day when we were working on the house, you would listen to Big
yeah,
Pockets.
yeah, and reading I read that book too, and
You're like,
yeah,
"Guess what?"
yeah, but we can go well, yeah.
Thank you, Brandon and David.
Yeah, which are really
I
good
was
friends
like,
of
"I've
mine
been
now, it's just crazy.
I've been trying to tell you this for 10 years."
Yeah, but it's so crazy now that both of them
Yeah.
are good friends of ours, but it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it started out listening to them, I got super
Yep.
influenced by that, and
Mhm.
I didn't know at the time, like, that's what we're gonna do, but
Yeah.
we sold that house that we lived in, we'd done a
Yep.
bunch of live-in flips, made a good profit off of that, and then at that point, we closed with the state,
Mhm.
we had a settlement with them, so we left the state of California, so I'm like, "We don't have to live there anymore, let's get out of there."
Right?
Moved to Florida.
And well, okay, but also we knew that At that time, the market was, like, ridiculous because everyone was moving out of the San Francisco Bay Area
Yeah.
into our area, and there's not the jobs to pay the prices for the houses, so everyone's like, "Well, what if you hate it? Then we will come back and buy our house back cheaper
Yeah. Yeah.
or another house
Right.
cheaper."
Yeah, anytime we can go
So
back, and we're thinking that. So, it's
so
crazy.
there's always options.
Yep.
So, what words of wisdom would you say for specifically a husband that wants to be an entrepreneur and leave the W-2 world?
Just lock in and do it. Don't like, the reason I didn't do it,
Mhm.
and I just that was my goal all the time, and I just didn't know it, right? Like, I'm like, "Oh, a cop is good, UPS is good." All these jobs I look back at, they were good because I was kind of independent, I could do my own thing,
Mhm.
but I just didn't trust myself, and, like, I heard something, it was like, "You're better off betting on yourself than you are on others," and that was
Mhm.
my real go-to, so that's one thing I tell people is, like, just go do it. Don't hesitate, like, and here's the thing, cut the floor out from underneath you. Like, just make it happen. Like, it's not gonna be easy, we've been through a bunch of that, and when I did that, that's how I started to really realize my potential and where God's really called us to be.
Mhm. This is true. So, if you have the option, planning on an exit would be good, but like it can still be done even when you're not expecting it, right? So, the strong survive no matter what, right? I have for you some rapid fire questions. Can you answer rapid fire questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what that is, right?
uh-huh.
Okay. First one, early bird or night owl?
Night owl, but wanna be an early bird.
That's this is
Real
true.
quick.
Okay, what's your favorite vacation that you've ever been on?
I feel like this one's that I've ever been on.
Yes. You have to have your favorite vacation, you have to have experienced it
I'm gonna say Hawaii with the family, with my family.
with your family, with
You
Garth Brooks or
No, not with my brother. No, with
his brother.
you.
Okay, we should explain that. His brother went to Hawaii when they were teenagers, and he had his cowboy boots and his cowboy hat on and
I
his Garth Brooks, like
Yeah, garb, yeah,
yeah,
and I came there with a
and
skateboard.
he was ready to roll, literally,
Yeah, anyway,
with us.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that
yeah,
was
Hawaii
awesome
with the family
with
for
the
sure, yeah,
yeah,
with the
little
girls.
awesome. Okay, what's your biggest pet peeve? It's probably something I do.
Yeah, like
You could pick 2 if you can't narrow it
no,
down.
I
I
don't
see
it's
the
not
wheels turning, you're like, "Hmm,
no,
which"
I was just trying to think like, okay, biggest pet peeve is like, I would say just cleanliness and organization. I hate when things are not organized. Like, I
Okay,
like what is the Germans always say? Like,
I don't know.
like systems. I like things to have like and I hate when things don't
Systems and
operate. Efficiency. I like efficiency. So when things are not clean or organized, I'm like, this is not efficient. I struggle with that.
That's funny. Okay, what is one thing that is still on your bucket list?
Just being the like self-funded missionary thing. I still like that idea of like creating like businesses and building enough value, money to be able to fund ourselves to go do that work, however that is.
That is awesome. Okay, what values this is not a rapid fire question, okay? You can take time on this one. What values do you hope that our children remember?
Being that we're just starting to create that.
Yes, it's never too late.
Obviously, courage,
Mhm.
having a background or a faith background, a faith in Jesus, loving others. Trying to remember all the ones we just did. We have quite a few, but those are some of the big ones I think of. And
Mhm.
then obviously, like loving is also generosity and being
Mhm.
reapers and sowers. You know, working hard for what we have and then sowing out to others and doing for others.
Awesome. All right. What does success look like to you now versus 10 years ago?
God, dang, dude, these are questions like I need to ask you these same questions. Is that okay?
You're going to copy me
Yeah, I am because those questions are super thought out, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, those are big." What does success look like now to me than it did
versus 10 years
yeah,
ago?
like 10 years ago, I wouldn't have thought at all that I had the capabilities of doing big things. And what I mean by that is now we have like the cruise and a lot of these they're big things that we're doing, but we're
Mhm.
doing it because God is doing it with us. And I feel like that's where I've realized my potential doesn't just come from me, it comes from the man above and giving me the abilities and then me stepping out in faith and doing that. So yeah, it's really like it's not even on the same playing field. I don't even know how to describe that. You know, like I just thought I was completely incapable as a young kid,
Mhm.
just for the school stuff, right? I mean, you go through your whole life in school just feeling like you're dumb and you're not able, and then
Is
you realize you are.
yeah. And
So
is that the messages that you were told? I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
that you believed that not because you were told you're amazing and you're gonna do
Right.
great things,
Yeah,
right?
it's what you're told,
Exactly.
which you always said to me.
Yes.
Not you didn't s should clarify
I
that. You did not
I
say mean
said
things to
yeah,
me.
I
You always
said,
told me to stop
"You're no
saying those
good,
things.
loser." No.
Yeah,
No, I
you're
said, "Words have power."
yeah, stop saying that. And I'm like, "Oh,
Do
babe, I'm
not
just
say
joking."
yeah, don't say negative things about yourself. It's not
Mhm.
just a joke. Okay, and if listeners remember only one thing from this extensive interview, what do you want it to be?
I think that there's a lot of life experience out there for people, but you've got to get outside the doors of your house and you've got to go do it. And you're going to run through a lot of hell and a lot of good, but you just got to keep running and you got to keep seeking what God has for you. And you're going to see the blessings and stuff that you'll get from that. Plus, that's what life is about. Life is not about sitting locked up in your house and afraid to step out and do things. You have to, and it says it in the Bible, go out and tell others about me. It doesn't say hang out in your house. So I think that's the thing I hopefully get to reach a lot of people through this is like, if you're just sitting around and you're like, oh, I'm in my comfort zone and, oh, this is my life. That's not your life. That's not what God created you for. He created you to go do big things. So, but in order to do that, you got to get outside the walls to do that.
Awesome. And then, okay, can you give our listeners one piece of encouragement?
That's it.
Can
Yeah.
you give our listeners
One piece
one
of
piece of encouragement? Is that
smile. Yeah, seriously. Like I again, like just getting outside and doing things and putting on a smile every day and writing a gratitude journal. Like I've been doing that lately every single day just to just sit down and write out like what I do and then at the very end I put like what I'm grateful for. I think that's always puts perspective on your life and to just everything around you be grateful for and treat everything that you have or that God's given you with honor it and take care of it because it's a gift.
awesome? Well, Jeff, it's been a pleasure.
My gosh, really nice to
Great
meet
to
you.
have you here. Thank you for making the
Thanks.
trip.
Yeah.
I look forward to having you on my podcast again soon.
Well, you were a very attractive lady, so
Oh,
we'll have to
thanks.
talk more later. I have a
I'm
daughter.
married, okay? Slow your
Oh my
roll there.
gosh.
Take your skateboard and get.
Whew, man, I'm sweating out that one. That was tough. That was no joke.
I
But
know. But hey, hopefully everyone has a very clear understanding of who Jeff Bodemiller is now.
yes.
Awesome.
Thanks for interviewing me. You did
Absolutely.
a great job interviewing
Oh,
me.
thank
You
you.
really did.
Thank you.
Those were actually really good questions. I
Oh,
was like,
I'm glad that you
"Oh,
liked
no."
them.
I was
And
like, "There's so she's gonna find out something she doesn't know." No, I'm teasing. You know everything from me.
oh,
Open book.
if I was trying to find something else, I wouldn't ask you directly.
Anyway,
I'm just
do you wanna
kidding.
close us out?
Yeah, I'll close this out. So, thank you all for listening. Hopefully you're still here. I know that was a long episode, but we are super grateful that you're here. Jeff is showing off our postcards that we had made.
You
They
did, and they're
Oh, okay.
awesome.
I designed them to look like a postcard.
Yes.
And on one side, this is the actual ship that the cruise will be on one
First of
side.
all, what it is this is something that's big on us we just talked about earlier. It's the
Mhm.
Anchored Family Cruise departing
Yeah.
November 13th this year. So yeah,
Yep.
that's something that we've put a lot of time and effort into, and if you wanna be a part of this, you and your spouse or you and your family or families
Or just you,
or
because
just
you wanna
you,
meet cool friends.
you wanna meet cool friends, amazing speakers, praise and worship, pastor on board, all that stuff. We're literally having church on board a ship plus a ton of workshops.
Mhm. Plus fun in the afternoon
Yeah.
or chill in the
At
afternoon.
pretty much the exact same cost it is just to go on the regular cruise. So it's gonna be an incredible
Mhm.
adventure. Anchoredfamilycruise.com. For information on us, where do they go?
Well, we're on Instagram. Just find us at Jeff and Lexie.
Oh, very
That's the
nice.
easiest way.
Yep, and all of our content is there and stuff like that, but
Yep.
we also wanna just tell you guys that all these podcasts, we do for the glory of God, and, we wanna encourage you, if you're a Christian or not a Christian and you're just curious on all this stuff, go find a church that you can connect with, a Bible-believing, preaching church that you can connect with, and, get more encouragement from there. So, we appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for listening to all my chaos, and thank you for a beautiful wife to encourage me through that and ask very, very good questions. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Thanks for answering my questions.
You got it. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. Hopefully you got something out of this. See you again soon.
Bye.
SPOUSA, the Spouse Podcast is the place to be. Keep each other in mind and you'll see what can be your true destiny.